Amigo, ¿cómo estás? Good, yourself? Good, good. Está bien. ¿Y ya quieres el muslo, agarra de agua? No, pues lo puedes agarrar de volar. Agarra el chismado que está aquí. ¿Por qué? De todo sale.
No, that's not it. For free, oh yeah. One more second's gonna bring it.
Está bien, ¿eh? Me dan ganas de ir.
So we have one for
No, ahorita que empiece. So I can set up the camera y ya me voy. Is everything working? Good, good. You? Yeah. Busy? Yeah. Just riding around. Tomorrow? Yes. Big crowd.
Thank you.
Thank everybody for being here. It's kind of a little bit overwhelming. I apologize, I'm not a very good speaker, but I'll do my best. I want to appreciate welcome to the USDA to come in and helping us. The town of Winterhaven really could use all the help we can get. We are underfunded and understaffed, and everything we need to be replaced.
Well, welcome everyone, and thanks so much for joining us. My name is Maria Gallegos Herrera, and I have the honor of serving the Biden-Harris administration as the California State Director for USDA Rural Development. And I'm just so delighted to be here with so many community leaders and partners from near and far, celebrating important, great things happening in rural America. And I am just so delighted that our Deputy Undersecretary Faramad made the trip from DC to join us to talk about exactly what it is that we're doing under President Biden's leadership to help communities like Winterhaven make sure that they have the resources they need to deliver things like safe drinking water. So, Deputy Undersecretary, you want to say a few words?
Sure. Well, thank you so much for inviting us here. We really appreciate it. I had a few moments to talk to Rick on my way in, and I asked if this room had ever been filled with this many people, and he said maybe a couple times when things didn't go so well. But hopefully, it's nice to be here with some friendly faces. We are so excited to be here today on behalf of the Biden administration and USDA Rural Development, to be a part of this project and to be part of the vision of this community. We want to talk today about the project, about a $1.5 million investment that USDA Rural Development is making in a new well for this community to really ensure that there's clean, reliable, and safe drinking water here. And that's part of the work that we're doing under this administration to grow rural prosperity across the country, but also to actually understand that when you've been to one rural community, you've only been to one rural community, and that each place is different, the needs are different, the opportunities are different, the vision is different, and we're excited to learn more about that today from Rick and our other colleagues about how this project came to fruition and how we can learn to be even better and stronger partners with you as we move forward. I also want to thank Maria for her leadership in the state of California on behalf of USDA and the Biden administration, and then also Charlene Fernandez, who is our Fearless State Director for Arizona. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from here. And then also welcome my colleagues who are here from the White House as well, who have been such partners and leaders in growing our work in rural communities on behalf of the administration.
Thank you so much. And we have a few other partners here, so why don't we give them a minute to introduce themselves. Saida.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here with all you today. My name is Saida Hernandez. I'm here on behalf of the Office of Commerce and Race. I'm the Director of Stakeholder Engagement. And back over there is my district director, Stella Jimenez, who actually is from the area. I cover the Coachella Valley, and we're just so excited just to be here for the partnership that we have with the USDA. We are very, very grateful because you guys have done so much for us, not only in Imperial County, but the Coachella Valley as well. So thank you so much.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Miguel Figueroa. I'm the County Executive Officer for the County of Imperial. I do also want to acknowledge some people in this room, colleagues of mine that work for the county. We have representatives from our Environmental Health Division and the Public Health Department. We have the Public Works Department and the Workforce and Economic Development Department in attendance here today. And the reason why I want to highlight them is because out of the multiple USDA grants that we've been recipients of, these departments are the ones that drive the work in order to address some of the needs that we have in our community. Within the USDA program and some of the things that we've used in Imperial County, we have 10 colonia designations, Winterhaven being one of them, and we're privileged to benefit from a lot of the monies that have come into Imperial County to improve our infrastructure. The water well project that was referenced is just one of many that have come our way, and others that we're being worked on right now as we speak. So with that in mind, we appreciate your presence, your attendance, and we look forward to continuing to collaborate with you folks. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Luis Andrade. I'm the Water and Environmentals Program Director for USDA Rural Development in California. I'm based out of the Imperial office, so I'm very familiar with the region and the needs of the colonial communities in Imperial County, as well as Riverside County, and I'm very happy to be part of this event and looking forward to our conversation.
Hi everyone, my name is Kellyanne Dwayzik. I'm the Special Assistant to the President for Agriculture and Rural Policy at the White House Domestic Policy Council. I have the privilege of collaborating closely with our USDA colleagues to advance the President's rural agenda. And President Biden really believes that no community should be left behind. That includes rural communities, certainly. So President Biden has been laser focused on ensuring rural communities, such as where we are right here in Winterhaven, have the tools and resources they need to accomplish their goals. So we're really meant to be here in listening mode today to learn more from you about your priorities. So thank you for hosting us.
Hi, I'm Will McEntee. I'm a Senior Advisor for Public Engagement in the White House and handle our rural community engagement, working with Kellyanne and our colleagues at USDA. And as Kellyanne mentioned, investing in rural communities has really been a focus and a major priority for this administration, for this president. And so it's really exciting to be here in Winterhaven today to see how these investments are making an impact in communities like this one and communities across California and across the country. So thank you for having us today, and we look forward to the discussion.
Hi, Charlene Fernandez. I'm the State Director for Arizona, and I see so many of my friends out here from Arizona because we know in Yuma what's good for Winterhaven is good for Yuma. So thank you for inviting us. I see Cocopah, I see Campesinos Sin Fronteras, I see Housing America, and that's what this administration has been talking to us about, not just projects like yours, and yours are very important, but obviously housing, tribal issues, whatever we can do to be there to help. The President has given us, that leeway to help you in any way we can. So thank you, Yuma, for representing here today. And again, what's good for Winterhaven is good for Yuma. What's good for Yuma is good for Winterhaven. Thank you.
So, we also do have a few of our colleagues in the back, including state directors from other states. I see Julia back there, the Alaska State Director, Deidre from Louisiana. So again, it's a big historic day for us here at USDA, and the announcements that we're making today. So, Rick.
I left somebody out that was really important. Well, our Deputy Director is here, Alicia Stanley from great state of Arizona, and also from Raul Grijalva's office, Congressman Grijalva, who represents the area just right across the river. We could throw a rock really hard, but probably hit it. Martha.
Yeah.
Martha, thank you.
Yeah, in that same vein, we have Monica Day as our community planner for California, so they help keep things going here in California. So Rick, you want to tell us a little bit about your community and the need for the project?
Yeah, Winterhaven is a small, older community. In fact, my grandparents used to live here when I was little, so I spent a lot of time as a kid here. It was actually a little more bustling. We had gas stations, there was bars, there was restaurants, and a grocery store. Now we don't have any of that stuff here anymore. But the community itself is underfunded. The median income is a little bit over $20,000 a year. So there's not a lot big resource that we can draw from. We have to be very careful if we do a rate increase. The ratepayers just can't afford it, and our cost keeps going up, and sometimes we have to do some deferred repairs, maybe just make something last till we can get some funding for something, and unfortunately that's kind of everything we have is getting old. We just have a sewer force main that failed. We had to do a bypass. That cost about $1.3 million. We had to borrow from the county just to get that going. The water project is something we had one well going. Our backup well was failed about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe longer. Time goes by too fast. There's some treatment issues that we need to work with. We have a high amount of manganese here. And we have high levels of manganese, is the biggest contaminant we have in the water, but we are dependent on trying to treat that. We have transient half of our income comes from the RV park across the freeway, and of course we have people there that we're used to a little better quality water, so we have to deal with that, trying to try to get the best water we can for what we can afford to do.
And how is the USDA grant, how is that actually going to help further some of those priorities?
First, as immediate need is going to help is, well, right now we have no backup well. If that well left, we'd have no source of water here until we could get it repaired. Now we'll have a backup source of water. Some of you that would go to the water plant and take a look, we have a very poor security system. The fencing is needed to be replaced for many years. We'll have a little better security and not have to worry about as much to have kids or somebody get in and damage anything. We've been pretty lucky. We haven't had that much trouble. We did have our service truck stolen a couple of years ago. Somebody cut the lock and was able to steal a truck from us, the only truck we had. So we have a little better security. And then to upgrade this building, as you can see, it's a little bit outdated. It's served its time, but it can definitely use some money invested into it to make everything where it meets all the standards we need to meet today. That's a start on that. We're looking at other grant monies for trying to increase a better treatment, maybe perhaps a surface water treatment that we can not have to deal with the manganese issue, which is right now we're removing a lot of the manganese, but it still beats the MCL level. So, but that's something the town needs some money put in to get everything working right. So.
I see we've got other partners here at the table. Love to sort of hear about how folks have come together in partnership to advance not only this project, but I heard there's a queue of other things that you're focused on as well.
I think Mr. Mueller has done a very good job in relying and getting the needed help from the County of Imperial as a special district under our watch. We want to make sure that number one, public health is addressed, that it doesn't become an issue. Mr. Miller gave a great example of something that happened recently in which we partnered, and through the leadership of staff, we were able to immediately address something that unfortunately could have been very bad. But we were able to prevent that. And we've continued to work together to, one, make sure that we get that project to the finish line, but also always make sure that we protect every individual that could be affected. I envision that continued partnership with the Winterhaven County Water District and other special districts in Imperial County will continue, and we will be at the forefront when called upon, just as we did this time around.
Now, I'm going to have to add something. Without the help of the Imperial County stepping in as quick as they did, we did get a little bit of help from the State Water Board, but that took a while to get any funding. Had they not been able there to help us, we would have had no recourse but to shut our water system down, and we would have major lawsuits from the RV park and along with the community here. We would not be able to provide water if we could not provide any sanitary sewer to remove it. Just the trucking and the cost alone were ridiculously high. I think we spent about $800,000 of that just trucking it to their sewage to the city of Yuma until we got everything fixed. So I want to thank the county for that. But
Yeah, it takes partnerships at all levels, and I would love to hear a little bit about kind of how you came to partner with USDA. We have our amazing California leadership here in the room, and so how was that kind of experience? Is it a long-standing relationship? Is it newer in this area, or how did that go?
no, actually, we were looking at another funding source for our well, and it wasn't going the way we planned. It wasn't going, and then Luis kind of got a hold of us, and he directed us, and he said he can make it happen. So it's coming along. So we're getting there, finally getting some action and getting some traction, and making it work, so.
So it was a good partnership.
Yes, it is. So far.
All right,
pretty good.
Luis.
No, I don't throw rocks at them.
No, it goes beyond that also, right? I think Mr. Figueroa mentioned, I think we've had a really good working relationship with Imperial County, different departments within Imperial County, and we were approached about 4 or 5 years ago by the Environmental Health Department, and they had just conducted an assessment of the Colonia districts and really looking at their water sources, right? And they determined that there was several Colonia communities that relied only on one well and found it necessary for them to have a secondary or backup water source or water system. And that's where it all started. We reached out to Winterhaven County Water District. They've been recipients of USDA funding in the past. We have obligated funding for the wastewater project that Rick referred to, and so we've collaborated with the Winterhaven County Water District by quite a bit in the past, and thanks to all the hard work by Imperial County staff, also it really did allow us to collaborate in addressing the needs throughout the county. We did recently completed the drilling of a second well in the community of Ocotillo, and it was also from that assessment, and we may be collaborating or we're currently in the process of reviewing an application for cost overrun funds for the community of Palo Verde, which is in the north part of Imperial County. So there's been quite a bit of collaboration. Also, we've been able to provide technical assistance through to Winterhaven County Water District through RCAC, and Pablo is in the back over there, and he's been assisting the district with this project, and so it's been really a lot of collaboration with many different partners, and so it's been great. We're really looking forward to this project going into construction, hopefully by the beginning of next year, so and have a reliable source of water for the district.
I think the other thing I'll just mention is, Imperial County is one of the 3 persistent poverties in California. So I think, again, it's really important that our team is, as you were mentioning, building relationships and partnerships and really understanding the local needs, so that as we're getting resources, that we're deploying those to the communities most in need. And Winterhaven is a prime example of a community most in need in a persistent poverty county. We've been having conversations with the county and just broadly speaking in terms of what are the various needs and how can we partner to address those needs. I know we have plenty of time to hear from other partners. Thank you so much for making it out here. I know that we've been very much involved in both on the Arizona side and California side to make sure that rural communities, colonial communities, our tribal communities are benefiting from a program. So would love to just hear from our partners, how that collaboration is going. If there's projects you want to highlight for our Deputy Undersecretary. Who'd like to go first?
I bet half would.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Ayala with Housing America Corporation. We do have the self-help housing program in 502 Direct. We're currently building in San Luis, Arizona. Also, soon we're going to be starting, going back to Somerton. We're going to be building our 1,000 home soon, and we've been helping, our communities. Most of it is the self-help program. And thank you, USDA Rural Development, for your collaboration, which has meant a lot to us, a lot of our communities, because the need is there. And the need is growing, every day, and we're there, to help these families achieve their goal. Thank you.
Deputy Undersecretary, so many people have benefited from PAC and from campesinos that maybe thought they would never have home ownership, and they're achieving this through through the Biden-Harris administration's investment in these communities. Sometimes we think people don't see us, and it's been proven that you do. So thank you, and thank Biden-Harris.
I think, well, that's so exciting. And, you know, today's project that we're talking about is actually one of a bigger announcement that we're making across a variety of different types of programs, one of which are our housing preservation programs, because we know how important that is to provide people, everyone, a path to homeownership. And I think what's really exciting about the announcement today, including the investment we're making in water infrastructure, is that the programs are actually targeted towards communities who have too often been left behind. In fact, the water program we're talking about today is one that's tailored towards colonias communities specifically. And that's really important, right? Because it can be difficult to access federal funding. Oftentimes these are competitive grant programs, and it's really important that we provide a path for all communities to be able to access this funding. So looking forward to kind of hearing from more folks too about the work that you're doing, especially in collaboration with some of our offices as well.
I'd be glad to share.
Yeah.
As Shelly mentioned, my name is Ademar Sandoval, and I work with Campesinos Sin Fronteras and the deputy director there. Relatively new to the organization, so still learning a lot. But one of the first things that I learned when joining the organization was how important the collaboration is with USDA Rural Development and just all of the work that we do. We're a nonprofit organization that primarily serves the farm workers in South Yuma County, and so we're a border community where we have all the same kind of similar struggles as Winterhaven, very low income, migrant seasonal workers in the area, and I mean there's just numerous programs that we've partnered with USDA in order to just benefit and advance the work that we do. Not only assisting the community with sometimes home improvements that they would otherwise not be able to afford to do, and having them just have an overall improved quality of life and better living conditions, but also even developing some of our own structures to be able to better serve our community. We've been able to get some USDA grant funding and loan funding to develop our buildings, and we continue to look at ways to expand and continue to be able to serve our community. But without USDA's partnerships, that would not have been possible. So it's just very, very, very critical. We really truly value our partnership with USDA, and Sherman is practically a Campesinos staple there. So, but again, just echoing what everyone else has said, we greatly appreciate the attention from the administration to looking at these rural communities that oftentimes get overlooked. A lot of times you see like going to the big cities, Los Angeles, New York, things like that, and for there to be a focus on rural is just essential. It's very critical, and it's very much appreciated. So thank you for being here. Thank you.
Just to add to that, I guess my name is Alejandra Reyes, and I'm the finance manager for Campesinos Sin Fronteras. I've been there for a little over 3 years now. And there's great magic when you go into a room when a family comes after their home is rehabilitated. There's a lot of people, they're like older people that, like Adrian said, won't be able to fix a toilet, for example. Or there has been people that we have helped through different funding sources, but that aren't able to afford, for example, a new AC unit, and they have to spend the whole summer without an AC unit. So they come into Campesinos. Emma has worked with the USDA for over 20 years, and she will continue to work. Emma's the executive director for Campesinos Sin Fronteras. And family are just very grateful that there's so much help in the area for the underserved communities. So, but there's like a million stories of people that come in are very grateful for all the help that they get, and they know that it's coming from the USDA, and they know that it's all the stakeholders in the community, all the partnerships that many people build. We're brand new to the organization, but we come with a lot of background from Emma Torres, which makes us proud to work for such a good cause and such a good community as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I so appreciate you sharing that because, you know, the Biden administration really is focused on investing in rural communities, knowing how important that is to grow local economies with the contribution it makes to regional economies and to the nation as a whole. And oftentimes what we hear is that USDA is one of the federal government's best kept secrets, and we don't want to be a secret. We don't, because we know with the work that we do in partnership with you and leadership across rural communities is just too important. And, you know, I was actually speaking with a new partner of ours in Arizona today who's working on bringing healthy food access to their community, and I asked, you know, how did you hear about USDA Rural Development? And honestly, they were Googling, you know, healthy food, federal grant, and you know, we want to get the word out. We don't want to be a secret, and so anything that you all can do as you have successful partnerships with us to make sure that we're sharing that information with all the communities in this region is really, really important, because we want to make sure that we're helping grow those economic opportunities across community lines, state lines, and across the region. So thank you for sharing that.
I guess to that end, I'll just mention that you know, I joined the USDA Rural Development Team mid-June of last year, and one of the first activities that we took on is making sure that our team was meeting community where they are and focusing on our persistent poverty counties and communities who have historically been left behind or haven't received investments from USDA Rural Development, at least in the last 5 years. And I'll say that you know, I grew up in a very similar community to Winterhaven. I grew up in the San Joaquin Valley, so in Fresno, Tulare counties, and unincorporated communities that had maybe 200 residents, struggled with same infrastructure needs, no access to safe drinking water, often had to use bottled water, so or you know, wonder whether our well was going to go out that night and we weren't going to have running water. So the work that we do here at USDA Rural Development, it's personal to many of us. We grew up and served the communities that we love. And as I was mentioning, one of the first tasks was getting out into those remote, underserved communities, and we've done that through partnerships like Congressman Risa's office. We worked with specialists across the state of California to identify which are those communities that we haven't necessarily been able to get out to, and how do we best reach them. So we selected 10 census tracts and several here in Imperial County and Riverside County, and we partnered with the Congressman's office to host, I think we were out here 2 days, over the course of 2 days, and we did 3 sessions, in-person listening sessions on each day, and then we brought together community leaders, school, special districts, nonprofit organizations, first responders, again, because we have so many programs to offer that we wanted to hear from everybody. And as our Deputy Undersecretary was saying, is we don't want to be that best kept secret. We want to be out in community, meeting folks where they are and talking about the programs that we have to offer, because we're in a very historic moment right now. The President's commitment to rural is like none other, and we have had important legislative actions like the Inflation Reduction Act and the American Rescue Plan and the bipartisan infrastructure bill that really has created additional opportunities for us to focus in on these communities. So super grateful for the partnership. You'll continue to see us in the community. I think I've been out here at least 6 times, if not more. And again, it's a true honor to serve in this capacity and to partner with all of you. I think there was a hand in the back.
Yeah, Pablo Figueroa. I work with RCAC. I'm local, live in San Luis, Arizona. Thanks for the invite. One of my colleagues, Raul Vasquez, has been working with Rick and Luis for maybe 3 years on this project. For a while as a TAP, and I worked with Luis for about 10. We provide technical assistance to rural communities and tribes in 10 western states. We can assist. We actually have some funding from USDA under the Technical Training Grant, and we have a Colonias Grant and a solid waste one as well. We provide, we do rate studies, we do median household incomes, also involved in leadership, so happy to be here. Thanks.
Hi, Hi, Diana Veloz with Yuma County, Community Planning Manager for the Grants Division. We actually also have funding from you all for the Tacna Water Project. It's also a colonia. Yuma County has 13 colonias in their area. And, you know, you're a godsend. We would not have been able to get that project going without you all. So it was something that community was wanting for the longest time. They had arsenic in their water as well. They would get notices of shutdown all the time. They were, you know, doing potable water and drinking bottled water as well. So right now that project is actually in construction. And so I just want to say thank you so much for that. And, you know, we are looking forward to working with you some more in our other colonias as well.
And I do want to highlight something too. Just because Imperial County is fairly new to us because of the whole redistricting, I do want to highlight a lot of work that has been done in the Coachella Valley. Just because a lot of the eastern Coachella Valley is similar to the Desert Shores, the Salton Sea area. We have had, and I believe this, and I think I told this to Maria, the community of Mecca, Incorporated Mecca, was built on USDA. We have lots of different apartments, a lot of self-help homes, the Galilee Center, which houses a lot of our migrant farm workers. Has been funded from the USDA, from their expansion to their cars, to the units, to the beds, to a bunch of stuff. So we are just very thrilled and happy with the USDA. And not only there, like our city of DHS has self-help homes as well, the city of Coachella. So we're trying to mimic that and bring it over to Imperial County because we know that is much needed in Imperial County. So we are working diligently with the USDA and with other federal agencies too, and we have been doing a lot of workshops. So I just wanted to highlight that, but we are very grateful to you guys.
Madam Undersecretary, if I may, strong partnerships have strong communication channels. And I think we are an example of that. Luis mentioned 2 other projects that fall within Colonia designations in Imperial County. But something that I do want to highlight is the collaboration that we have with the Housing and Community Development Department in the state of California, and the advantage that we have where sometimes you got to be creative because you have a lot of needs and one pot of money can't pay for everything. So we leverage resources, and I do want to highlight that USDA Rural Development has been doing a significant part of that for us, and as a result we've been able to have projects that we can complete. Luis Andrade and staff, I can at least mention right now a couple of times during the month where we communicate every month because we're taking part in different projects. So with that, I do just want to give an opportunity to my Workforce and Economic Development Director to share her experience in collaboration with USDA.
Sure. I've been the Workforce and Economic Development Director for about 7 years now. And I've got to say USDA is always at the table. So there is a lot of need. We work primarily with community development block grants and USDA in the past. But how do you pick one, right? When your community is so disadvantaged and there's so many. So we go out to the communities and we look at the need and we look to see what the possibility of the NOFA grant is, what our resources are. Like Miguel said, the communication is really good because everybody's open to, they see the need. USDA has been at the table every single time to see how they can be of assistance, and they guide. So the technical assistance that we get from USDA is really good, as well as from the other organizations that we work with. So it allows us to take a project that seems impossible to complete and see it through to fruition for a community that otherwise would be even worse off. So that is my experience with USDA. Collaboration is really good. They are invested in the community and they are interested in seeing the community get that assistance. So just want to say kudos.
And I just to add on, I think I know we're covering our water and environmental program funding right now, but Imperial County has been a recipient under our community facilities program for multiple grants. I think Imperial County Fire Department has received close to $1 million over the last 10 years, and we're happy to be able to assist. We understand the need. I mean, Miguel touched on it a bit, indicating the amount of work and assistance they have to provide to all the colonial communities, and I think they have done that. There's been dissolution from some of the water districts in the past and wastewater districts, and I don't know if Public Works would like to share a little bit of that experience and the project in Island.
Thank you. We really appreciate you coming down. It's very important for this community to know that our federal partners care. And so the fact that you're here today is extremely important for us. And I do want to make sure that we let you know that our local contacts and our local partnerships are extremely important. We have had a lot of stress in our special districts where they fail. And so when they fail, the county ends up being the agency of last resort. And we step in because we know it's the right thing to do. But a lot of what we've accomplished over the last few years would not have been possible without the leadership under Luis particularly. I think if it's one message I think that's really important, it's having an understanding of these communities. A lot of us here have grown up in communities like this, if not this one in particular. But having an understanding of needs and reaching out is extremely important. And so I think one of the things that I was thinking about, we have to work through a lot of different federal agencies through our grants. USDA is just one of them. And when we get into certain conflicts, sometimes it has to deal with maybe the silos that are developed between the different types of agencies, whether large or small. And so if it's anything that we would ask is that when we need to have two large agencies meet and discuss a particular issue, that there's an openness to do that, to try to find resolution. Because sometimes that means faster success. And so that's been a challenge, I think, not only at a federal level, sometimes at the state level. Because at a local level, we kind of understand a path, but it's trying to communicate that at a very local level where they need some assistance. But overall, it's been a godsend. I was just thinking about the fire station, Luis. I think the fire station was built here. I think your generator was USDA.
It was.
So it's just, you have such a footprint. It's amazing.
I think he set you up for RPM.
I know. I think we planted a question, but we're getting comfortable now when we've moved away from the appreciation to what we can do better. So I really, really appreciate that, and just the openness and honesty about sometimes the challenges in partnership too, right? And I just want to say that I think a lot of the appreciation that I know is in the room is really due to our USDA Rural Development staff. So I know we've introduced a lot of folks, but can our USDA team just kind of raise your hands? I want to make sure. So we've got a big USDA team. I want to say one of the strengths that we have is the fact that much of our staff are in the rural communities that they serve, and they're from those communities. I think Maria told her own story, and it's really why people come to this work, because it matters so personally. And that is our greatest strength, because having that understanding of your community is so key. But we can't do it all, right? Our programs, they have their parameters, and sometimes it's not the right fit, right? And you need other partners to come to the table, hopefully to stack a couple of programs together, to leverage other programs. And I think that's where our USDA team is incredible, because we try to have a broader community and economic development perspective, because our staff are in their communities and they know that that's what it takes at the end of the day. And I want to talk a little bit about how we're trying to do that in one significant way. And it's with work that we're doing with my colleagues from the White House. So when President Biden was running for office, he made a campaign promise to serve rural communities better. And how that came to fruition is through a place-based program that we started called the World Partners Network. And I think we have some leadership from the Cocopah tribe in the room. And so we are working with 36 communities, specifically including the Cocopah tribe. And what we're trying to do is break down those silos. So we have over 25 federal agencies who have come together specifically to work better in those rural communities. And so right now we're operating in 10 states and Puerto Rico, and we're working with multiple communities in Arizona, including multiple tribal communities. And the goal is for us to do a little bit of the homework, right? It's to understand the community vision, understand the projects that they're hoping to get off the ground, and then for these 25 federal agencies to listen to that, to learn, to ask some questions, and then to go back to their federal agencies and try to do the homework of navigating the federal government, which can be really difficult, to find the right resources for those communities and try to make sure they stack together to make those projects go from a vision to a reality. So that's one way that we're trying to break down those silos. And as we're doing that work across those 36 communities, as we learn those lessons, we're trying to share those lessons and those best practices. And we launched a website with the start of this program called rural.gov. We tried to make it easy, right? Rural.gov. And the hope is to build that website out with those best practices about how all of government can come together and help move projects forward in a rural community specifically. And so that's part of the hard work that we're trying to do as part of the Biden administration to start to break down those silos and better serve rural communities across the country.
If I may say, I'm Gary Magrino. I'm the business director for the Cocopah tribe. And I'm honored to be appointed to the RPN as RPN rep for our tribe. One of the things that really strikes home with what you said is exactly right. You know, I walked in here and as Mr. Lee Jones said, you're drinking from a fire hose because the federal government is like this. And all of you people that are professionals in that arena, you know where to go. I didn't know where to go. So I called naturally Charlene. You can call her any time of the day or night. Call Alicia, call Jared, all of our team, and I said, we need to get this thing done. And they say to me, Gary, you need to look on grants.gov. If you can't find it, we've got another source for you. Charlene, Christine up in Minnesota. Everybody is so supportive. Now, we've had 3 nice grants come in. And fortunately for us, they're us. And it's not one from the USDA. But USDA has their footprint on each one guiding us along. And for that, I thank all of you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else who'd like to offer? This is the point where we are open to feedback. Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about your portal.
Yeah.
So the portal is a little bit difficult to manage, and now with all of the SAM.gov and the ID.me coming out, it's harder for rural communities to be able to get into those portals. So it is really important to have that technical assistance for us to be able to get into that portal and to fill out all that paperwork, all those questions in there, especially when it comes to a water infrastructure project or a sewer infrastructure project, which even the people that work with the water system don't know some of those questions. So it is very important to have the staff that has some expertise in that so they can assist us in that and filling out those questions in that portal, I think.
I agree with all that there. We, as a small community, we don't have the resources to have somebody, we can afford somebody on staff that's a grant writer, or get somebody that's going to depend on the county. We depend on USDA. We also depend on our engineers, Nicholas Engineering, which is back there. We need them to guide us, just basically point, you sign right here, what do you need? Well, we need this and this, okay, well, you sign right here, and it makes it easier for us, because it's just so much stuff that we do not have experience in, and there's so much things that fall into place that just a normal layperson doesn't have to deal with, and so it makes it difficult, so we depend on people like that. And I've had to deal with Ms. Stallworth here to help us with Yuma County and stuff. She's helped us out with a lot of different stuff too.
And if I may add too, we have an outfit called Arizona Local First, which is a grant writing service. What a wonderful thing. I don't know who pays for them, but we call them and say, we don't have a grant writer. I have trouble spelling. And when you get that down to the level when you have to do a big grant, we're already lost. But you call Local First Arizona through it, RPN, and that's how this is like magic. So please, make sure everybody gets credit for that.
I'll say, even though California is not an RPN state, I know that our team is very accessible to our communities in terms of being able to help answer questions, whether it's SAMS.gov or any other application process. Last year, as part of our focus on engaging communities that we hadn't previously served, we did also hear from a lot of the superintendents that serve the small rural schools that they had never completed a community facilities application, and so we organized an application webinar where we brought together 10 or 12 leaders to kind of walk them through that process. So continue to tell us, what's challenging, where we could do better, because the willingness is here. Again, we have a directive to really, from the president to get out into these communities to make sure these dollars are reaching those most in need. And the nice thing is that we have a team that I often say, we're the team that are always looking at how do we get to yes? How do we work with you to make sure that, again, our programs are serving and meeting your community needs. So I so appreciate everybody coming out today. As I mentioned, it's just so wonderful, especially on a personal level. Somebody that spent so many years serving rural, experiencing firsthand the challenges of not having safe drinking water, working with communities during historic droughts where people lost their water sources. I know firsthand how important it is to be able to be your partner, to help you build that second well, so that you have that redundancy, so that your community can continue to thrive and be resilient. So again, really looking forward to our ongoing partnership with the county and others. We want to come back and celebrate the ribbon cutting of that well, but also looking forward to bringing in more resources to communities here in Imperial County, and also continuing to work with my colleague, Arizona State Director. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
What happened?